So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to find the equation of a line from a graph. So let's get right into it. So we have 6 problems, and we're going to solve using the graph. Number 1. Okay, so let's first write the equation of a line. Y, let's do a better job. Y is equal to mx plus b. So what we need to find is the m value, and we also need to find the b value. Now what is m and b? M is the slope of the line. The slope, so let's write, is equal to slope, which is equal to the rise over run. Now, what is the rise? If we're looking at this line, we have 2 points, this one and this point. So how much do we have to rise and how much do we have to run to get to this point? And that's going to be our slope. So if, let's say all of these boxes represent 1 unit. So we have to rise, okay, 1 second. We have to rise 1 and run 2 boxes. So our rise is 1 divided by our rise is 1 and our run is 2. And that's our slope. So we're going to substitute that into the equation. Y is equal to 1 over 2x. Now remember, our slope is 1 over 2, not 1 over 2x. Plus, now what's our b? So our b is going to be the value, the y-coordinate that this line passes through. So if we erase this, what's the y-coordinate this line passes through? We have this line, it passes through this point. So it passes through when y, this point is y is equal to 0. So because it's the origin, and the origin is 0, 0, and the y value is 0. That's the y. So it's plus 0. Or you could write the equation as y is equal to 1 over 2x, and that's it. That's our answer. Now what if you have a line that's going down? But you might say it's, if you look at it the other way, it's going up. But the thing is, you read the graph from left to right, just like you read. And if we go from left to right, the graph is going down. So let's write the equation again. Y is equal to mx plus b. So what's our slope? So if we go from this point to this point, how much do we have to rise and how much do we have to run? Now since we're going down, our rise is going to be the downward motion, so it's going to be a negative. And then we just have to figure out how much we go down. So we go down 1 box, 2 box, so it's negative 2 over, how much do we have to run? 1 and 2. So we have to run 2. And then you can notice that you can simplify this. 2 divided by 2 is 1, then we have the negative sign, negative 1. And that's our slope. So we can substitute that into the equation. Y is equal to negative 1 times x. Now what's our b value? Our b value is going to be the y-coordinates that this line crosses on the y-axis. So this is, let's assume each box is 1 unit. It's going to be negative 3. So minus 3. And that's our answer. Or you could write it like y is equal to negative x minus 3, you don't have to put the 1. And that's our equation of this line. So rule to remember, if the line is going down, negative slope. If not, a line is going up, it's going to have a positive slope. And the b is the y-intercept coordinate on the y-axis. So what do you do if you have a straight line? Now notice that the line does not have any slope. That's why it's straight. So our slope is going to be 0. So if we have a horizontal line, the equation is going to be the point that it crosses on the y-axis. So in this case it's negative 1. So the equation is going to be y is equal to negative 1. That's it. On the other hand, if you have a vertical line, our equation is not going to be y equals, it's going to be x equals, and whatever point it crosses on the x-axis. So in this case it's negative 3. So x is equal to negative 3. If it were to cross this point here, if this was the line, then the equation would have been x is equal to 1, 2, positive 3. Okay, so let's move on to a more difficult one. So in this one, they didn't label the points, so we have to find our own points. And the points you want to use are good points, whole numbers, no decimal points. So you can see that this point here is going to be a good point because the value is 1, 2, 3, 4, comma 0. No decimals. Also this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. So we can pick any point and try to go to the next point. You always want to go from left to right. So we're going this way. So our slope is equal to, it's going to be a positive because the line is going up. So we rise 1 over 2. So our slope is 1 over 2. Again, same as the first question. So y is equal to 1 over 2x. And then what's our y-intercept? Well, our y-intercept is going to be negative 1 and negative 2. So minus 2. And that's the equation of this line. Okay, so this one is a more difficult problem because it involves more algebra. So you can notice this line is going down, so our slope is going to be a negative. You just want to pick 2 points, so this is a good point. And then you notice this is not, neither of these. This one is close, but not close enough. And this one is. So we know it's negative. So negative. How much do we have to go down and run? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, 1 too much. It's 8. And then we go over 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we went down 8, so it's minus 8, and we ran 5. And that's our slope. So y is equal to negative 8 over 5. And then we just have to find our b. Now you can notice that the b is not a whole number. It's not right on a point. It's going to be a fraction or a decimal. So to find b, we can do some algebra and find the exact value for b. And I can show you how. So let's erase that. So we can use the same formula. We don't even need a new formula. We just have to write it down. Y is equal to mx plus b. We just have to modify it a little bit. because we're solving for b and not to y, we're going to move the mx to the other side. So we're going to subtract mx on both sides. So we get y is equal to, we get y minus mx is equal to, this cancels out, b. So we can get this out of the way. So since y minus mx is equal to b, we can rewrite that as b is equal to y minus mx. Now, we just have to pick a point, either this one or this one, and we just have to plug in the y and the x and our slope, which we figured out, and we're going to get the value for b. So we could either pick this point, which is -1, 4, or we could pick 4, -4. So I'm going to pick this one, but you can pick any one. So b is equal to, our y value is 4, minus, our slope is -8/5, and our x value is -1. So we're going to solve this equation. You can put it, if you have a calculator, you can put it in the calculator, but let's do it by hand. So b is equal to 4 minus, so first we're going to multiply these two guys. -8/5 times -1 is going to be 8/5, positive 8/5. And 4 minus 8/5, you could do that in the calculator, or you can convert 4 into a fraction that is over 5. So we can multiply the bottom, 4/1, we can multiply both of these by 5. So 1 times 5 is 5, 4 times 5 is 20. So 4/1 is the same as 20/5 minus 8/5. And b is equal to, so you just subtract the numerators. 20 minus 8 is 12/5. And that's our b value. So our equation is going to be y is equal to -8/5 x plus 12/5. And that's our equation.